The phenomenon that has become Gypsy Rose Blanchard is something I have never seen before. Are we witnessing a new era in true crime? An era where inmates turn into influencers? Gypsy was convicted of a heinous crime, but Gypsy's story is incredibly nuanced as her victim was also her. The prison bars had not even sealed shut behind her before the public's fascination took hold. A Lifetime documentary was being made while she was still incarcerated, and it was released as she was released. She got married while behind bars, and I've got to be honest, I had the same concern that a lot of people have quietly voiced. Is this all too much too soon? Should Gypsy have taken time to quietly acclimate back into society? Who is advising her that all of this media attention is a good idea? Well, if you thought Gypsy's story was a one-off phenomenon, it looks like the Oxygen Network is getting ready to see if lightning might strike twice with beloved Tejano singer Selena's killer, Yolanda Saldivar. Yolanda Saldivar is eligible for parole next year in March of 2025 after serving 30 years of a life sentence. Oxygen is set to release a documentary called Selena and Yolanda, Secrets Between Them. It will premiere on February 17th, and in it, we will hear from Yolanda herself as well as her family members in an effort to challenge what the public thinks they know about the crime. The public's fascination with true crime is nothing new, and it's not going anywhere anytime soon. Networks will continue to make movies, series, and documentaries about the cases that dominate headlines. But what about when the people actually involved in the crimes themselves, like the perpetrators, for example, go after the notoriety for themselves? As those that convicted of these crimes that dominated the headlines get released from prison, are we about to witness this being the new fast track to social media influencer? We have a lot to talk about. Let's get into today's video. Hey everyone, what's up? It's Sarah and welcome to Sarah Spills. Growing up a kid of the 90s in Los Angeles, there were a lot of historical events that dominated the headlines. One event in particular that really defined that era in Los Angeles was the trial of O.J. Simpson. I remember being in elementary school and our teacher rolled in the AV car when there was news of a verdict so we could all watch the verdict come down live. Deeming OJ's guilt or innocence to be of top pertinence to a third grader was a really wild time to live through, let me tell you. We all know the outcome of the trial. OJ gets acquitted. He then gets found civilly liable for the deaths of his ex-wife Nicole Brown and Ron Goldman. He then would later get the book thrown at him when he found himself in legal hot water yet again when he's brought up on robbery and kidnapping charges in Las Vegas. He ended up serving 9 years before being granted parole. He was originally sentenced to like 30 years or something. The reason why I bring up OJ is when OJ was acquitted, people wanted nothing to do with him. He was a social pariah. Many people, myself included, believed that the jury got it wrong. O.J. Simpson somehow lands a book deal, and he decides to put out a book called If I Did It. The public's reception was something along the lines of absolutely the fuck not. According to Wikipedia, the book was originally due to be published by Reagan Books. The television network Fox was to also broadcast an interview special with Simpson to promote the book. However, following objections to the special by several Fox station owners, the special was canceled. Footage from the interview was aired for the first time during a Fox special, O.J. Simpson, The Lost Confession, in March of 2018. In August 2007, a Florida bankruptcy court awarded the rights to the book to the Goldman family to partially satisfy the civil judgment. The book's title was changed to If I Did It, Confessions of a Killer, and this version was published by Beaufort Books. The new cover design printed the word "if" greatly reduced in size compared to the other words, and it placed it inside the word I. So unless you look at it very closely, the title of the book appears to read, I Did It, Confessions of the Killer. O.J. Simpson tried to make money off of a crime he was acquitted of, and the public backlash was swift and definitive. We don't want to hear from you, O.J. What's changed in the almost 30 years since O.J.'s acquittal?
Gypsy Rose Blanchard's story is a true crime phenomenon. Nearly 20 million followers and counting on social media. Paparazzi following her every move, major magazine cover, and all kinds of TV appearances.
Gypsy Rose. I mean, what can I say that hasn't already been said? She is all over the place. She has been on what seems like every talk show, podcast. She is an Insta influencer at this point, and this happened literally as her hands gripped her new phone for the first time. Now she and her new husband Ryan will be embarking on their own reality show. Gypsy's story is definitely more nuanced than a lot of convicts getting released after serving time for a murder charge. Gypsy served time for her role in the brutal death of her own mother. Now, Gypsy's mother, Dee Dee, was perpetrating one of the worst cases of Munchausen's by proxy that society has ever seen. I think. See, the story is even more nuanced than that. There is controversy surrounding Dee Dee and if she actually met the diagnostic criteria for Munchausen's by proxy or factitious disorder imposed on another, as it is called now. Additionally, people are speculating on Gypsy's participation in essentially running scams. It seemed like a big motivation for Dee Dee was all of the freebies they received from society's goodwill. And honestly, that is a topic for another video. What I want to talk about in this video is the level of fame Gypsy has attained since her release at the end of 2023. Gypsy has garnered a lot of public sympathy. Is it deserved? I don't know. What I do think is that probably no life coach, therapist, or mental health expert would recommend Gypsy thrust herself into all that is social media and national television before having the chance to acclimate back into society. Or really just acclimate into society at all, because one could argue she really did live like a prisoner with her mother. She went from one prison to another, and now she has freedom and all of this attention. If she makes one misstep, will the public call for her cancellation? It's a lot, and you guys will have to let me know what you think in the comments. If we thought the Gypsy Rose phenomenon was a one-off, like I said in the intro, we need to think again. There is a concerning trend forming of people whose crimes made headlines becoming insta-famous yet again when their possible release is imminent. Enter Yolanda Saldivar onto the scene.
Yolanda Saldivar killed Selena intentionally and knowingly.
What the public's been told isn't exactly what happened in reality.
Is there more to the story than I know? Hell yes.
After so many years, I think it's time to set the story straight.
My family gathered the evidence.
Showed different versions of what was going on.
I knew her secrets.
And I think that people deserve to know the truth.
Look, I get that Gypsy's case is far from black and white, but Yolanda's? I have the same reaction to this trailer that I think society had to O.J. Simpson's book. Absolutely the fuck not. Yolanda has been in prison for 30 years. In 30 years, I have not heard anything about there being a controversy in Yolanda's conviction. Yolanda unalived Selena Quintanilla Perez by shooting her because Selena discovered Yolanda was embezzling money from her fan club. Yolanda seemed to be a very troubled woman, and to me, it seems like she still is. I'm no legal expert, but Yolanda hasn't actually been granted parole. She is just becoming eligible in March of 2025. Isn't part of parole showing contrition for your crime? So my thoughts are, who is Yolanda's legal team? Does she have one? She has to have one, right? Who would greenlight her participating in a documentary where she claims that there's more to the story? This documentary is coming out next week. over a year before Yolanda will even be eligible for parole. If I'm on the parole board, being the non-legal expert that I am, I'm like, denied. This lady hasn't learned shit. So is this what we are going to see now? If Scott Peterson, God forbid, gets out somehow, will he be rivaling the Kardashians with social media followers? Is this all a beast of our own making because we as a society have such a thirst for true crime content? Is there a way to ethically report and consume true crime? Because, I do think there is value in sharing these stories, but when does it cross a line into being too much? As always, let me know your thoughts down in the comments. Make sure you like this video and subscribe to my channel. Be sure to follow me on Instagram, Threads, and X at Reality Squad, and I will catch you guys in the next video. Take care. Have a good one. Much love.